Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another Big Think Mailbag. We've gathered the whole Big Think crew again to answer your galactic questions with our Giga brains. We've got a lot to get through, so let's go ahead and get started. Our first question is sent in by Homie. Hey there, Shin Megami thinkers. Since Pokemon Sword and Shield awakened the 3DS hatred within KZ, I wanted to ask a 3DS-oriented question. Are there any games that are exclusive to the 3DS that you really like and would want them to escape from that hellish place? For me, it's the Dragon Quest VII remake. Dragon Quest VII is my favorite JRPG thanks to its unparalleled sense of adventure and exploration that I would love to experience on something other than a potato. Thank you for your excellently thought-out answers, and please get some rest. Dragon Quest VII, the remake, I assume, is vastly superior to the original because I was wholly unimpressed by the PS1 version. I'll have to give that a look. I've yet to play it. KZ, are there any specific 3DS games, aside from Pokemon, that's cheating, that you would like to see show up on any other platform?
Probably Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, which is a pseudo sequel to 4. Not 4 though. That one was bad. But this one was pretty good. It's a solid take on the combat and general feel of Shin Megami Tensei. And was the last mainline one we got until they announced 5 and then didn't do anything.
It's coming. It's fine. There's nothing wrong. What are you talking about? What? Why is the aggression, KZ? I don't understand.
I mean, I'm sure it is fine. I'm sure that they revealed that when they had a name on a whiteboard and nothing else.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm just saying that Atlas they are very fast at making video games, as you know. They're the fastest AA video game developers I've ever seen.
When they announce Persona 5?
It'll come out next month. It'll come out next year, and then you'll get to play it 2 years from now when it's finally localized.
It's not related to this question, but Atlas USA is doing a day-by-day countdown to reveal the release date of the localization of Persona 5 Royal, and I might lose my fucking mind.
I hope it's the exact same day as Final Fantasy VII. I hope it's the same.
How do you count down a localization that was already announced
of an updated re-release?
But yeah, that's the only one that I can think of. Most of the other things are remakes.
Find out when you get to play Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Mix.
I mean, I'll clap to that, but I'm like, you don't need to count down the days, motherfucker.
I have a quick answer before I throw it to someone else. Mario Golf World Tour. We haven't had a Mario Golf game since then. That came out in 2014.
Ooh, that is crazy.
I hope Camelot's working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be an exciting one.
Nice.
I do enjoy the Mario Golf games.
Yeah, that one.
I enjoyed the GameCube one a whole lot. Toadstool Tour.
Yeah, Toadstool Tour. I was a huge fan of the Game Boy Color one, and the 64 one's pretty decent. I enjoyed the GameCube one. I did not throw nearly enough time in it. What's up, Bob?
The GameCube one is the one where we kept yelling at each other with the in-game taunts, right?
Yeah, just for wind speed.
Oh yeah, with the right stick.
And
hurry up.
And then Luigi's like, you look ridiculous. Because he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
What a dick. Anyway, yeah, I would really like it if that could escape that platform. And I know it's insane, but I'd kind of like a better way to play Mario Kart 7.
Huh. I would never thought. Yeah.
That has Waluigi Pinball on it. It's valid.
I mean, any game with Waluigi Pinball on it is valid. Much higher priority than Mario Kart 7, though, is Pilot Wings Resort. Pilot Wings Resort, really great game. Pilot Wings, a really great series. I would love that to show up on literally anything else. I would have taken even the Wii U. Still will, you know. If you port it to the
Wii U game,
still will.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah. If they
God,
port it to the
it's
Wii
that
U,
bad.
I'll buy it.
Just dust this thing off, hook it up.
Hey, man, it's sitting over here. It's in the vast array of consoles we constantly have hooked up at a moment's notice.
It's that scene from Metal Gear Revengeance when the senator like beats up Raiden and then like picks him up, dusts him off.
Yes,
It's like,
it's
oh
that.
yeah, this maybe
Am I
this is
finally
okay.
getting through?
Yes, the Wii U might finally be getting through. That's all I can think of off the top of my head without some really obvious ones like every 3DS Pokemon.
Right.
But, we took that off the table because the question was stirred by that sort of thought. Bob, do you have any?
I actually have a pretty good list. I
Okay.
think we got
Go
Kid Icarus. We really should get that off there.
That's the biggest one.
Right? It could have dual analog
Fit
sticks.
on the Switch so perfectly.
I also have some smaller ones. Liberation Maiden, the game made by Suda51. You play as the president of the United States, who is a high school girl who fights a giant robot and fights aliens.
Yeah, that sounds like Suda.
Yeah, no, it's enjoyable. It actually has a full dub. I was surprised.
Huh.
And there was one other who. Oh, right. Ever Oasis.
Yes, I would really like it if ever Oasis got ported.
Heck, I would even like Link's Awakening. Not Link's Awakening.
Link Between
Link
Worlds.
Between Worlds.
Mhm.
I like that a decent bit. I'd love to see it just in higher fidelity.
Mhm.
It already ran pretty well too on the 3DS, so just get
Yeah.
it off of this thing.
Yeah, that would be great. That game looked incredible, and I was just upset because it was a 3DS game.
Yeah.
Field, do you have any?
This is getting into the ports of ports situation, but I would like to play the versions of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask that have way updated visuals on something that isn't 240p.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
I'm sure there's others.
Yeah, I actually have my 3DS here. I'm just going through stuff.
Yeah.
I
Ocarina
don't-
at least, because I know they really fucked with Majora.
Yeah, they fucked
in
with
some
Majora's
really
Mask
unfortunate ways.
in some really unfortunate ways. I still don't think they're very good, but I would still advocate both Bravely games being moved off that fucking little coffin.
Yes.
Like, they don't deserve that.
That little coffin.
What you don't want? Or how about Codename Steam? Should that be off of here?
No, that can
That's
die
a little
in there.
coffin.
I also, I wouldn't really want a port of it, but I'd like Square Enix to make another Theater Rhythm for the Switch, because I always thought Theater Rhythm was a decent little rhythm game series.
I like the art style.
Yeah, I mean,
it looks cute.
they have a ton of great songs.
Honestly, though, like, the 3DS had a lot of, here's the new entry from that DS series. It's not as good as the DS ones. A lot. Like, that's mostly what I think of when I think of the 3DS. DS2, not as good Boogaloo.
I mean that's fair. That's how I feel about it. I mean, me and Field definitely, I feel like, have been the hardest about fuck the 3DS. Because this has to be the 5th podcast he's brought up the Ocarina of Time remake, which is fair.
It's like,
Again, my favorite games on the 3DS, for the most part, are ports, because that's most of what Atlas did on there for a while. Were just ports with voice acting added.
yeah, Kid Icarus and of course the Pokemon ones, please, somehow, someday.
That'd be neat.
Kid Icarus is the really big one, where it's like, this is a big game.
Yeah, no, it has probably more story than any other Nintendo game.
Please move it to something where my wrists don't fall off.
Even the Wii U.
I mean,
We'll take it, man.
for posterity's sake, it's preferable. Yeah. Okay, it sounds like everyone answered that. We're going to go ahead and move on. Next question's from Professor Bad Vibes. Hello to everyone currently trapped in the Big Think dimension. I've been doing some thinking about how games contextualize their mechanics in the real-world activities and subjects that they take inspiration from. I was curious to see if any of you had any real-world activities, occupations, etc. that you think could make for an interesting video game in the right hands. For example, the recent Nintendo Switch game, The Stretchers, is a 2-player game where the players must perform tasks by raising and lowering a stretcher, the device that's used to lift patients into an ambulance. Dan and Bob might also recall playing Taito's Power Shovel on a PS1 roulette stream, which had you controlling a construction excavator. Thanks for reading. Have a nice day, and please considering doing a cursed content committee. Nope, not gonna read it. We have a channel in the Discord for suggestions for cursed contents. Thank you, though.
I will respect your choice. 13th year is based on Phil's life.
Okay, so I like a game dev tycoon. What we need is GameStop employee tycoon.
Oh,
There's only a bad ending there.
yeah. Are you just an employee, or are you management?
You're
of
just
one
an employee,
GameStop?
but you can work your way up the ladder. All you have to do
No,
is
you can't.
shill some cards, get some pre-orders. I think this would be a delightful game.
What's your good ending? You become the community manager for a game company?
No. The good ending is you're a regional manager or a district manager, and you spend all your time driving around looking at GameStops that you don't like.
That's like a nightmare.
The bad ending is you become one of those people on GameStop TV.
No, those are transcendent beings. You can't even exist on the same dimension as them. They just beam into your lives.
True. One time I saw Greg Miller on there when I went to my fucking GameStop years ago and went, oh no.
The CEO rips out your heart and installs a Funko Pop where it was.
Yes.
Ooh.
Does it function as a heart at all? Or are you just
No,
dead?
you just die.
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
He thinks it works.
There's a 1% chance you'll survive, and you'll get a huge boost in the corporate size. But yeah, I think doing a retail manager that is a game, like doing a retail simulation game that is written about video games would be interesting in the way that doing, the game development tycoon is interesting. I would like that. I'm trying to think of anything else I have life experience with or is popping into my head. Nope. I don't think the nuances of video production can be turned into a video game in an interesting way, but I do like the photography mode that showed up in Pokemon Sun and Moon. If only Sword and Shield had that, but running at a good frame rate, that would have been neat.
Yeah, on a default regular 3DS, I think it ran at like 6 frames.
Yeah, you're right, because that's all I had at that point
The
in
new
time, and
3DS
it's
isn't
rough.
even better.
No, it's not. It's like 3 or 4 frames better.
Yeah.
I've tried it on both. But man,
It was unplayable, so I used it once and then I think one more time because I think they forced you to for a section.
probably. Bob, do you have anything you've thought of?
I would like to see more games like Power Shuffle where you control big construction equipment. I think that is a really neat idea.
If only they had more games about planes, trains, and automobiles.
Right? Yeah, other than that, I'm like, it'd be cool to see a firefighter simulator style thing because I feel like we've seen those, but it's been a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a tougher one.
Mr. Feel?
I've had a lot of times where I thought that I would like somebody to make a deconstruction simulator where you fuck shit up, but it has really good physics and like the structural integrity of things are semi-realistic.
Red Faction Gorilla.
Yeah, like just blow that out.
No, I mean, not Red Faction Gorilla where you shoot a rocket at a building and it falls apart in big chunks.
No. You hit the building with a sledgehammer slowly and you break it down. That's way more fun.
There's some...
They're like a fast forward button.
I like how Death Stranding came out and it's like the ultimate UPS and post-apoc simulator.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yes. But I would love a game where it's like, okay, tear down this house with this sledgehammer. Don't get crushed by the house.
Yeah, no, that would be neat. That was definitely the neatest angle of Red Faction Gorilla, and I don't know why they made the sequel that they did.
Yeah, it seems crazy because they actually had some pretty cool structural stuff in that game.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was just all taken out in favor of, what if you had a gun that reversed time?
What if you repaired things by making it come back via time? Oh, that would be stupid.
What was that game that let you shift objects into the past or future, but if you did it to people, it did nothing because that would have been too cool? It was from
Singularity,
Last
I
Gen.
think.
Singularity.
Yeah. Blinks the cat.
What was that? There was another one where it was like, our big thing is that your gun can make the ground raise or lower. And it was really
Fracture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, we didn't really have dumb gimmick games like that this gen, did we?
That was like a sub Haze level game.
Yes.
Yes.
It was.
That's a low bar.
One might say that's subterranean at that point. That's a mole people game. KZ, you got anything?
A QWOP-esque video game where it's cup stacking,
Oh, that'd be fun.
where you have to do your best to control the arms and everything and timing to be a professional cup stacker.
That'd be neat. I think a game where you deliver tofu could be interesting. You know, you just drive it around in your car out on mountain passes. That'd be neat.
Okay, Dan.
What? Just driving my tofu.
All Eurobeat soundtrack.
What about a racing? Well, what about a racing game? A racing game where you have to drive to the hospital before your wife delivers her baby.
How many wives do you have in order for this to be a game?
I feel like we're getting away from realism and into WarioWare minigames.
Yes, the ideal place for humans.
I stole that from a Navigator video.
Okay.
What if Lara Croft got breast cancer?
Imagine the drama.
I think you could make a pretty good game about, you know how they have those games where you're supposed to diagnose the problem with the car and then fix it? Same thing for PCs.
That exists, doesn't it? Because there's PC Builder Simulator.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I know there's PC Builder, but is there, like, diagnose the problem?
I thought that was part of it. Maybe not.
You'll just give that game to the people you know.
I mean, honestly, all I want is more Trauma Center.
Oh, that's
Come
fair.
on.
That's fair.
Yep.
I want a wrestling league tycoon where you get to be the head of a wrestling what's the term they use normally?
Syndicate,
Organization, federation.
league.
Promotion, a wrestling promotion. And you get to design your wrestlers and decide how they're paired up and who wins and stuff and get popularity based on that.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, my headspace was in the like regular wrestling and not pro wrestling.
No,
Okay,
that's not wrestling.
Yeah, Bob.
I was thinking some sort of judo game where you use each analog stick as a hand and it has the most awkward control scheme imaginable.
Oh, are you talking about like a weird Torabash clone?
I don't know what that is, so maybe.
Oh, you've never heard of Torabash? It's this free quote a million quote fighting game where you control each joint individually and you like put in all your movements and both players put in all their movements at once and these insane rag dolls just flail at each other.
You whipped me through time. I played that.
Wow. Okay, I'm watching a trailer. This is weird.
I had to have played it like fucking 9 years ago.
The trailers in 4x3 that speaks league.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to have played like a decade
Jesus
ago.
Christ. Let's see. I feel like there's something else in me, but I don't know what. There's probably something
Yes.
else. I don't. Oh, I know something mundane that I do that I think would be pretty interesting. You should do some sort of game about podcasters, but you have to decide what the content is, and then you need to decide how rational you go about it. And there's large branching story paths, and you can just go full Alex Jones.
There should be like a mechanic where there are quick time events, right? But they correspond to someone talking over you when you're in the middle of a point, and the quick time events are to keep your anger in check, so you don't fly off the handle.
Well, see, you don't even have to have co-hosts. See, you get to decide the exact level of insanity you're dealing with. You roll for a different background, and when you roll for a different background, it gives you different strengths and weaknesses. So maybe you're, somebody who used to work in the game industry, and you just run podcasts or live streams by yourself, and you invite guests on randomly. That would be cool.
Or you
That's
roll to
pretty
have
cool.
terrible anger problems.
Or you're just some person who works a dead-end job and is really just yelling all the time on their podcast or live stream and gets popular because of that. I think that would be a fantastic thing. That would take forever to write. Anything else, guys?
I'm good.
Okay. The next question is from Anani Moose.
Moo.
That's the sound mooses make. Dear people who make sane armchair dev pitches and Mr. Feel, first impressions are especially important in media.
I'm sorry, KZ got left out.
But they can also be wrong. What are some video games where your first impression was really bad or good, but you ended up loving or hating it regardless at the end? To give an example, Kingdom Hearts 2 had some of the most boring first hours in any video game, but the game is still absolutely amazing despite those first few hours. On the other hand, I found Final Fantasy VII great during the Midgar section, but when the open world segment began, I found myself getting less and less interested with the plot and characters and ended up giving up after losing a few hours of progress. Thank you guys for all the great work. I hope you keep it up in the future. Thank you. That first day playing Death Stranding sucked, but I'm sure you know that if you listened to that Death Stranding spoiler cast. That went really rough for me to the point of I wasn't even carrying that much stuff. My dude trips, dumps it all in the river. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. Bob, do you have anything in mind?
There's a couple platinum games where I'm like, I really love the idea of this going in, and then it just doesn't work for me. Like Astral Chain this year and Wonderful 101 back in the day.
Oh, what a year it's been. Me, Death Stranding, you, Astral Chain.
So like they have really cool ideas and concepts, and then I feel like don't deliver right. So it hurts the experience.
Yeah. Also, Bob, what about what about Twilight Princess? You really liked that game, and then it made you play through it twice because of that game-breaking glitch.
Oh no!
I was mid on that game, and then it had a game-breaking glitch, and then I went through the whole thing again.
What were they thinking?
Yeah, because you can
double the fun.
There's a glitch at basically the end of the game. You go into the observatory. If you save in that observatory during this story event, you're locked in there forever. You can't ever leave. So I just have to restart my save file.
Oh.
Yeah, that was really rough. That game, I wanted to like it at the outset, but the motion controls are really, really, really bad.
Oh, you mean the part where you shake your wrist to do a thing a button could do?
Yeah,
Well, just play the GameCube version.
I should have.
But then he doesn't get progressive scan and widescreen.
Right. Wanted that widescreen. Didn't know I'd have to ruin the game for it.
Yeah, no one saw that coming.
Don't worry, now you can get the Wii U version, which is on the Wii U and is therefore a different sort of problem.
It's got its own debuffs.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah, so it's a real not great experience.
Mr. Field, do you have anything?
Prey 2017, I think.
Yeah, I think that was
Newest
2017.
one.
Yeah.
I played that. I was real excited about it. I'm like, wow, look at all these. It's kind of scary, and you got this crafting element to it. It reminds me a lot of the first BioShock. And then I got like halfway through, and the game's like, do you want to float through space for really long periods of time?
Yeah.
I go, no, not really. That's kind of a really boring gameplay mechanic. Like, do it a bunch. Do you want new areas? And I go, yes. It's like, we don't have any more new areas. I'm like, oh, so I'm just like, would you like new enemies? You want some new enemies? And I'm like, yes. It's like, oh, we don't have any of those either.
Why would they keep asking you these questions?
It just runs out of steam like halfway through and stops showing you new things, and I never finished. I'm like, this is boring. You should have ended this 5-6 hours ago.
Phil, why did your copy of Prey sound like Sonor Card Gauge?
No problem. No new enemies, no new content. Only more hours of what you planned. Come on down to Prey 2017.
The only one I thought, since I said that other one, Bob?
What's up?
Uncharted 4. I went into not really wanting a fourth Uncharted game and being really concerned because of Uncharted 3.
Right.
And then a lot of the early stuff is a lot of the stuff that's maybe wrong with Uncharted 3, where it's a lot of story stuff and not a lot of gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually by the end, because of certain interesting story angles, the Jeep segments, plural,
Yeah, Jeep was a lot of fun in that game.
and other stuff, yeah, it really won me over. I thought Uncharted 4 was like either that or 2's the best one. I really liked 4 a lot by the end of it. KZ, did you have any that you thought of?
I've got a couple. First one, since we were almost referencing games that came out recently, Sekiro, in terms of horrible first impression upon playing that, because it just seemed more oppressive than any Dark Souls game, just because of how that combat works and the fact that there are so many less options in that, especially at the start, to the point where critical sub-weapons in that are just hidden off the beaten path. So it made things extra difficult until I Googled, what do I do? And they go, oh, climb up this thing, you'll get this gadget. I'm like, okay, this helps a little bit. And then once I broke through the first like wall, which is like that ogre boss and other stuff, I still think pretty highly of that. Like, I need to go back to it since the year's closing out.
Yeah, did you ever finish it?
I did not. I got to that last phase of that last boss and went, God, you have gone right past my limit in terms of what I can do.
The final boss of Sekiro is like the most. You guys, this was just mean-spirited. You did not need to go this fucking far.
It's the equivalent of a tall guy going up to you, holding their hand against your face, and you're just running at them. He's like, no, fuck you.
4 fucking phases.
Not a fan of that, but I really ended up having an overall positive experience with that because it was fun to actually explore that world because there was a lot more verticality and jumping around and stuff. I was like, I like exploring this more than I do any of their other games that they had made this gen and last gen. The other one that was in the reverse, where it was a positive first impression that kind of degraded over time, was Octopath Traveler. That came out last year, where I was incredibly positive on that game when it starts because the presentation is immaculate, music's really good, combat is interesting. But then I realized that that is the most copy-paste game I've ever seen, where it's 8 stories. Each character has 4 chapters, and they all work exactly the same. Where you go in, they give you narration, they talk to someone, they learn where they have to go for a dungeon. The dungeon is 45 seconds long if you run. There's a boss. There's closing scenes. You're done. Since there are 8 stories, party members are non-canon. So it's that one person interacting with whoever is in their chapter.
Yeah, that's really bad because
This sounds like Saga Frontier 1, but bad.
Yeah, and the party member interactions, they took like skits, for example, in Tales of games. You can do that, but only with the 4 people in your party. The ones that you have at the tavern as backups cannot be interacted with. The skits are based on the progress you've made in that point of the chapter. So when I Let's Played it, it meant that I had to look up a guide of when the flags for each person's little skit pops, then run back and get them. And I remember at least 2 of them just being entirely missable. That being said, I don't think the game's terrible. I think a lot of the stuff with it is really strong. I would just like them to take the idea of retro-looking RPG and put a story in it instead of as many characters as possible with no connective tissue on any of them, except for a super boss dungeon that I did not play.
yeah, because the opening of that game, I was super excited. I thought that after chapter 1 for everybody, it would actually involve them meeting up, and the story would coalesce.
They give you this freedom in that game where you beat the first chapter of whoever you picked. You start running and you can go in like one of 2 directions at the time, and you'll run into a city that has another character. And then it begins, and I got confused that the characters weren't talking to each other. and it like took the reins of whoever you picked next. But then your party members appear for battles and other stuff, and I go, oh, this is how that's gonna work. I was at the point where I'm like, if you bring me to another fucking cave that looks exactly the same, and then they kept doing that. But I hope, because they said they're making another one, I hope with this next one they put more work into connecting everything together, because that game sold a lot. I'm pretty sure it went above their expectations, since that was still one of the few JRPGs on Switch at the time. But yeah, those are my two.
The Lufia game on the DS.
Oh!
I love Lufia 2
like
a
you
lot.
shot him.
It's one of my favorite games. The DS version of Lufia is it's a tragedy. You head in, you're like, oh, I love Lufia 2. Oh, it's kind of an E-style. I like both of these things. And somehow, through its lack of polish and not as good writing as the original translation, you get tired of it. And then the game fucking freezes. And you go, what the fuck am I doing? And then you put it down and you never play it again. And I sit there and I go, well, what if I beat that Lufia game? And I talk to my cousin, who also loves Lufia 2. And she just looks at me, and she looks sad, and she says, no, you did the right thing. Get out while you can. And I'm like, holy shit. How upsetting is the rest of that game if, 5 hours in, I quit because of a fucking terrible freeze? And this is what she looks like. So, yeah, that game had so much going for it as I went in, and it just slowly drained it out of me. Until the game freezing in the middle of a dungeon, thus making me redo the dungeon, just made me go, nah, I'm good. Ugh.
I wonder who owns Lufia now, because the owner went out of business.
Yeah, I know the owner went out of business. I have no idea who the rights would have defaulted to. Maybe it's no one. Maybe it's now publicly owned IP. Can I go make a Lufia
Maybe it's
game?
Nintendo, since they seem to have taken Rune Factory, which was also a Neverland game.
Yeah, that was also Neverland.
Huh.
Who knows? I would love for Nintendo to take a swing at Lufia. That would be great.
Fighter Pass 5, which will probably be announced by the time this comes out, so this joke won't work. Deeker from Lufia 2.
Oh man, do we also get the main character of Glory of Heracles? Heracles?
Yes, Bob. Yes, we do.
Yes.
This is delightful.
I came up with one more.
Okay, go ahead.
Dishonored 2.
I should play Lufia 2.
You should.
Yeah. I need to play it at some point.
I got pretty far. I never finished it.
It's so sad because I want to recommend Lufia 1, but it's just so rough. It's just not there.
It is. I fell out. I got pretty far in Lufia 2 as a baby playing it on an emulator.
But what about Dishonored 2, Bob?
Yeah,
Tell
Dishonored
me about
2.
Dishonored 2.
I was actually kind of excited. I somewhat enjoyed the first game. Thought some of the stealth mechanics were neat. Then I played the second one and had really bad input lag. And I was excited for there being 2 characters this time around. I thought there'd be some cool thing where you could have to switch between them for different missions. Instead, at the beginning, you select which one you play as, and the other gets frozen in carbonite. And the whole game's about saving them.
No!
Well, Bob, they had to be frozen in carbonite. Otherwise, they would talk to you and you would just catfish.
If the story isn't about them saving that person, what are we going to do?
Right. By the way, your phrasing of it had kind of bad input lag, that's so generous.
I know.
It's more like you're throwing levers and trying to make the robot come to life.
I want to believe that at some point they patched some of that up, but who knows? It probably never did.
It's so egregiously bad. They should have replaced
it's a bad sign when these are AAA games from Bethesda and both of them pop up in the good first impression, it sucked.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can do a reverse for the reverse for a Bethesda game.
Sure, yeah.
First, I can do it standardly. The Evil Within 1. I thought it was good at first because it was kind of like RE4. Falls off a cliff almost immediately.
That's the rate.
But the Evil Within 2, I had the reverse experience with. I started out kind of expecting it to be horrible because the first one wasn't that great, and then it turned out to be a pretty good game.
And if you're playing the Big Think Mailbag drinking game at home, be sure to take a shot.
For which part?
For you bringing up the
Me mentioning the evil.
I'm pretty sure you've done that on every mailbag. Feels like no.
There's Evil Within.
No.
2.
Yeah. There sure is.
That's what Fields said during that moment of the game. He was like, yeah.
There sure is, as he loads his gun.
I just turned into Terra. It sure is.
Yes, there is. Okay.
Are you afraid of me?
Jeez,
That's what the
Don't
Evil Within
make
1.
me want to watch the supercut again.
That's what the Evil Within 1 asked me, and I was like, no, not really. Sorry. You failed.
Uh-oh.
Isn't this village spooky? Yeah, no, that thing is depressingly not scary at all.
Bob, isn't this Academy aspect ratio very spooky? No letterboxed right now.
That was one. They eventually patched those out, so why were they ever there?
Because it was rough enough where it couldn't run without them. Because it's literally not rendering there. It's saving a little bit of performance to get it anywhere near 30 frames per second.
Two, the fact that your reward for beating the Evil Within 2 is unlocking the letterboxing is hilarious.
Yeah.
Suddenly this runs better.
Do you... That would be funny. That'd be really funny. Does anyone have any others before we move on?
A Shame Tango Gameworks is just doomed.
I don't want to
What do you
talk
mean?
about it. I don't want to talk about
They
it.
got Ghostwire Tokyo
Look,
coming out.
we're recording this.
Oh,
We don't know anything. They could have shown that at the Game Awards.
Oh my god.
And it's starring the main character of Vanquish. There's just a tiny tonal shift. Vanquish was made by Tango Gameworks.
I hate these time capsule podcasts so much.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, let's see. The next question is from Samurai Jack Frost. Dear Large Shoe Lads, Kingdom Z Excellent, and Feel Letter Media. Bob, do you think he's Jay Bauman or is he Mike Stacklasa?
He's Meister Class.
Okay.
He's a mix of all of them.
Since we're currently stuck in a nebulous hell zone where a good amount of anime games are mediocre arena fighters, Bob, is this a recent thing? Anyway,
No,
I
not
wanted
at
to
all.
ask, what would be
The
your...
recent decade and a half.
Right? That's been going since PS2 at least.
Right?
God.
I wanted to ask, what would be your ideal game based on an anime or manga series? For example, a game I would play the absolute shit of would be a Max Payne-style third-person shooter based on the Black Lagoon series, even though releasing a Black Lagoon game in the next couple of years would be striking while the iron is glacial.
yeah, it really would.
Thanks for the hours of entertainment and great podcast. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Samurai Jack Frost. I'm going to let other people speak.
I can go.
Go right ahead.
This is going to sound like a really weird random poll.
Mm-hmm.
There's this anime called Kekaishi.
Mm-hmm.
I've never even seen all of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it's all about
I remember seeing some of it.
characters who can make like energy barriers, and they're like these cubes.
Oh yeah,
and they catch demons in them.
Bob, that's X. Oh, demons? Never mind.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not X. It's distinctly
How
different from X.
fucking dare you evoke the name of X?
It's okay,
That
Phil. By the
fuck-
time this podcast is done, I'll be holding Bob's decapitated head crying.
That
What?
fucking movie that was on every cable channel because it was like, this anime have blood.
It was
be
very
good
hard.
anime blood.
I've never seen X. Should we do a GigaBoots on that?
Okay, so
Probably no.
here's XKZ. Have you played Evil Zone on the PS1?
No.
You're thinking Psychic Force.
Evil Zone is also X.
They're all rooted in X.
X is in my name. I should know this. I'm sorry.
Can you just fucking imagine we do Weeaboos, this ancient fucking movie that makes no sense and was on cable 15 years ago?
I mean, that would be a great direction to take GigaBoots because that means it's only a skip and a hop away from Lost Universe.
Yeah.
Such an infamous anime that literally shitting the bed. The term in Japanese anime culture for shitting the bed when it comes to animation is a reference to a specific episode of Lost Universe. Because the studio caught on fire in the middle of producing the episode and they had to half-ass everything. It's such a bad fucking looking episode. It's so funny. But your Kakaishi thing.
Yeah, no. I don't even. I just think it would be really neat to have a system in place where you get to make barriers like that, because they use them for all sorts of crazy things. Like they've used them as platforms to jump on, and that usually the show's set up in a way of like, okay, we know the demon's in this area, so it's like they lock down a small part of the city and they try and hunt it. And I was like, that could be really neat, like just ways of showing them out in different placements and being able to set them up, and you could do some really neat stuff with that. That or a Devil May Cry style Bleach game, But that one's too obvious.
I thought you were going to go for something else.
No.
Or, even better, a Hellsing game that plays like Gungrave.
Okay, I'm down with that.
Yeah. This seems fucking obvious, and technically they made a few of these, but they haven't seen release in the United States even once. Detective Conan game where you solve fucking mysteries.
So Ace Attorney, but it's Detective Conan.
Every time they do it, they do more like the episodes. It's a little different because Ace Attorney, you're in the fucking courtroom.
Well, they had Ace Attorney Investigations.
Yeah, the prosecutor one.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know that's a thing. But look, the whole theme of Case Closed.
I guess the more accurate pull would be, so you mean like a Famicom Taite Club, but Detective Conan?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, that's undoubtedly what caused that game to be. I'm going to be honest, because Conan was blowing up right around then. But yeah, no, the whole theme of Case Closed is getting people to self-incriminate by throwing circumstantial evidence in their face until they admit they did a thing. Hey, you were here. No, I wasn't. This is your butt. You copied it with this faxing machine. Yeah, I killed her. Yes.
Yeah, fucking Shinichi is just the biggest piece of shit, aggressive, fucking strong arm prosecutor ever.
Yes. It's great.
Like, you're in the same state as them. Admit you killed them. Okay.
Yes.
I'll kick you with the soccer ball again if you don't.
Oh yeah, no, it's like you committed the crime because you're not actually crippled, and he's like, but I am crippled, and then Conan kicks a fucking ball at his head, and he's like, Jesus Christ, leaps out of his wheelchair.
No, it's one of the times where he kicks. I don't know if they do this in the anime, but sometimes in the manga he would kick a motorcycle helmet at people, and I'm Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, no, the ending of a really long, really good episode, they're trying to escape out of the lobby of a hotel they were renting with the child they kidnapped. He kicks a fucking motorcycle helmet into the skull of the fucking dude who's kidnapping the child, and I'm like, oh my god, that man is dead, Conan.
But it's okay, it was Conan. I mean, it's always Conan who does the killing, right? I'm not misreading these episodes, am I?
So when are we doing our Case Close Abridged? Once you start getting really far up there in the episode numbers, let me get this straight. You have coincidentally been at 307 murders in the last 2 years.
No, Dan. It's all been 1 year.
It's all been 1 year. When are we doing that podcast?
KZ,
oh,
no. The gimmick is a character got turned from an adult from like 8 being 16, 17 into being 6. And they are still 6, but have been at 900 murders.
I'm aware. I watched a new episode at the time back in like 2016. I was like, man, they still got
a new episode. For a second, I was like, they quit doing the dub way before. Then I'm like, oh right, he probably watched it in Japanese. I don't know why I can't conceptualize anybody just going and seeking out Japanese Detective Conan.
I had Crunchyroll at the time, and it was in the feed of like new things, and I'm like, I'll check this out. Let's see what's going on with Conan.
I like to watch the everything about the universe evolve technologically around him.
Oh no, does it do that?
It does that. They have smartphones.
Oh no!
Rachel, we need to call them. Okay, Conan, let's find a payphone. Why don't you use that smartphone in your pocket, right? That exists now. It's been 10 minutes.
KZ isn't used to that because he also reads Hajime no Ippo, a series that is like that started has a different time scale to reality, and they fucking keep doing it. It's 1996 in that manga right now.
That's good.
Because that came out in like the earlier mid 80s.
It started in 89, the year after I was born.
Yeah, like it started around then, and it was synced up to that year. And they've naturally gone through time like that.
Because, you know, it'll take a year and a half to do 2 boxing matches, so they can't keep the time frame.
I mean, to be fair,
real.
if Conan took place on a linear timeline, it would be 2019. Just doesn't make sense that no one's aged.
Oh my god.
Conan's like now in his mid-20s, Rachel's in her 30s.
She still hasn't
doesn't notice.
Somehow. He's using it.
You know that's why I dropped that fucking manga, because I tried to read Detective Conan once.
Mm-hmm.
I got to like the third time, she almost figures it out and then fucking falls over the smallest pebble, which destroys all her reasoning.
Yeah.
I got to like the 4th time that happened, and I'm like, I can't deal with
I'm not strong enough.
I'm not strong enough. Not for that.
Yeah, no, it acts like it's a Ranma episode or something where things are really lighthearted and it's okay that they're goofy all the time, but then it's about murder and a missing person that is Jimmy Kudo. And it's like, this hurts sometimes.
Ron/Rachel's just like, well, I have a signed confession saying that Conan is Shinichi, but there's a guy wearing his face on a paper mask back there. It must not be him.
Yeah.
There was one time he called Rachel from inside of a bathroom. That was really cool. And then she was pounding on the door and is like, "Let me in." And he's like, "Please don't barge in on me in the bathroom, Rachel."
This is a little much.
This fucking series. You know, honestly, I wouldn't mind it, except for every now and again, Rachel's like, "Shinichi, I swear to God, I'm going to blow my brains out." And Conan's like, "Oh my God, why do I keep doing this to her?" But then he keeps doing
Right,
it.
then he just keeps on going. I feel like they even write that into the movies sometimes. It's like, well, it certainly isn't going to be fixed here, guys. Maybe you don't bring it up.
I fucking...
we fucking flew off the rails.
What are you talking about? We're still talking about anime, so it works.
No, it's fine. We're just going to talk about how great Conan is. And then after that, we're going to talk about how great Milo from the new Pokemon game is.
Oh my god.
I can't wait for it
Big
to show up
Dan
in the
dimension.
anime. That'll probably be the best part
I
of the
thought
new
you were gonna
Pokemon.
say. I thought you were gonna
that'd be
say
good.
magical Kaito, and I was gonna lose my fucking mind.
Oh, God. Does anyone else have any ideal anime game combinations before we move on?
Yes. I'll keep it to 3.
My
'cause I
winning
have so
combination of a Conan game plus localization.
One, I'd really like SNK to make a Kingen Asura fighting game.
That would be really raw.
I thought a lot about which company I'd want to make this, but I'm like, you have dudes like Gao Lang Wong Sawat, the Thai boxing champion of the world, and he literally does a tornado upper, and I'm like, okay, that has to be SNK.
Yeah.
2, Yu Yu Hakusho, but it's Judgment.
Oh, so you actually go around investigating crime scenes and stuff. Is a spirit detective?
A game that is structured basically exactly like Judgment, but it's a Yu Yu game.
You have described what is basically my ideal version of Yu Yu, where it doesn't go into being a normal shonen series ever.
Yeah, that was straight up the one I had set up, where it would be an action RPG of only the first season of Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah.
Where the final boss would be the Tarukane arc, where you fight Tagoro for the first time, and you have those major plot points from the first season as like your big set piece like stretches of gameplay, and the rest of it are dozens of cases throughout that city that you have to go do. Because otherwise, I went, well, you could make like a detective style gameplay. If you're going through the entire show's story, or even past the first season, it would just come off very, very weird and inconsistent.
No, see, here's what you do. You do all of that, and then you just skip over the Dark Tournament entirely, and you have it actually peak with Sensui. Because Sensui still has a lot of the air of early Yu Yu in it, where he's trying to figure out what's up with the former spirit detective.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
that is a lot more.
You would naturally want to do the best arc in the show.
Yeah.
Just make Dark Tournament like a weird just a weird boss rush in the middle of the game.
Yeah, that's what it would have to be.
Man, that would be fucking
I'm like,
strange.
You only have like 2 arenas you have to make, and then you just blow out some boss fights. Only do the ones where Yusuke fights, and then the rest is just some cutscenes.
You're just blasting through people. They barely have long enough for their fucking outrageous accents to sink in. It's like, hello, top of the morning to you.
Yeah.
I really like that just because, look, you can't not have Hiei do the fucking dragon thing.
Right.
That has to be in your Yu Yu game.
Yeah, I mean,
There's no avoiding it.
we've met human beings with the tattoo. They would be really disappointed if it was represented in the game.
Oh, man. That would be such a cool tattoo unless you're like this type of person that exists in like 3 people in the world and none of those people have that tattoo.
So you're telling me if Bruce Lee was reborn with that tattoo, then it would be
Yes.
okay.
Johnny Young Bosch is also allowed to have that tattoo.
I really want to hear him yell that now.
Oh my god.
And the last one, which I only came up with recently, is I would like sort of like a platinum game, maybe structured like Astral Chain, but hopefully a lot better game of Demon Slayer, the fairly recent-ish slow show / manga, because the main character is just like a samurai that hunts demons, and he can smell a thread on demons to cut it and like perfectly bisect them. I'm like, that'd be cool if it controlled like Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
Yeah, no, that would be cool.
Yeah, like that guy has the eyes from the Melty Blood main character.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, what's up?
I knew. Here we go.
Lost Universe, but it's Mass Effect.
Yes!
So it's just ripping off Star Wars. And it's just so upfront about it, but it's taking itself so seriously, and they just keep writing more and more stories, and they're all terrible. Lost Universe. It's a great anime, you guys. See,
It's terrible, but that's what makes it great.
here's the thing. It's made by the person who, the light novel it's based on is written by the person who did Slayers. See how you hear about Slayers all the time and you've never fucking heard of Lost Universe? That's really, that explains it all.
I've never heard of Lost Universe at all.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Lost Universe is a bit of a fever dream.
It's canon the Slayers.
It's true. It is technically canon.
Okay, now I have to engage with it on some level. Fuck.
Lost
I guess we'll
Universe.
have to do some content.
We're going to... God. Dan, are we going to have to do some fucked up video series where we talk about Lost Universe, then Slayers, then both versions of Orphan?
Yeah, it's called Get Cultured.
That's called Weeaboomers. Boomers.
Fuck you.
Be a boomers.
Oh man, that's a great name
Oh,
for the
one
X series.
Yeah, no, we're just watching old anime. It's called Weeaboomers.
But there's gonna... But one, there was like a Slayer series 3 years ago.
True.
And 2, there's going to be another Orphan remake, unless it's already out and I just didn't even see it.
Right, but that's
It's very
okay.
close.
That's okay because those reboots, those remakes are for Weeaboomers. So we're watching the
true.
old animes, and then we'll watch.
Yeah. That's the target audience of those
And that
Tenchi
means that we
OVAs.
can watch Tenchi Moyu Shoes the Ages.
Oh yeah, we can watch all the Tenchi Muyos.
Oh, okay, we have to stop. In case we decide to actually do this, we can't give away too much.
That's true. I'm gonna mark this and
Last
censor everything.
one.
I don't want to be involved
Yes.
with this conversation.
Last one. Just fucking make a Gundam game based on the Build Fighters sub-franchise and deliver on its concept. I don't even have to pick a dev. Just follow through even remotely on the anime's concept in a game form and
Don't they already have games for that where you like assemble a Gundam made of parts that you collect?
No, I mean
Gundam
have
Breaker?
story mode and frame it as you're competing in the show and go through like a story.
Okay.
So you want a game that controls like arms and is in fact G Gundam?
Pretty much.
Yeah!
I mean that yeah.
Yeah, you did it. You nailed it.
I
Launch
was
me
thinking more
Domo.
along the lines of not Mad World, the other one, Anarchy Reigns. I was thinking something along the lines of like Anarchy Reigns, but you have a insane customizable Gundam as your pro tag.
Should have checked out more of Anarchy Reigns. I think we have a multiplayer video.
Yeah, it's
can't
an interesting game. It doesn't feel complete, but it's really neat.
I had a lot of fun with the versus modes the few times I got to do it.
Yeah, I feel like it could really have benefited from some better net play. Because, oh man, every time I played it online, it was rough.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna say something hurtful about Platinum, so Bob might enjoy it.
True. He
Doesn't
does hate every Platinum game.
doesn't it seem like the Platinum games that got more money and the Platinum games that got less money should be like reversed?
I'm trying to think of the Platinum games that got more money.
Like I would consider Astral Chain a Platinum game that got more money.
I guess it must have got money.
Yeah,
just 'cause it's
that
Nintendo,
one
but-
definitely did. I feel like Nier Automata did, but like that I think that money's on screen.
Right.
Like the theoretical universe where maybe Astral Chain didn't get as much money, but like Anarchy Reigns got more.
That's going to take a long time for me to conjure as an imagination. That's how hard of a sell that is. Anarchy Reigns gets money because some guy looks at it and goes, we should give this money.
We should burn our money.
That's what Nintendo. I feel like I doubt any. Do you think any Platinum game like ended up making more money for Nintendo than they paid?
Astral
Yes.
Chain probably is the closest one to seeing a profit from it.
I think Bayonettas have seen a profit. I think those have seen a profit with the Switch releases.
Pretty sure
especially.
Astral Chain did pretty good for them.
Yeah, I think Astral Chain's the first
Astral
time they
Chain-
actually did well.
Astral Chain, did that sell better than Xenoblade? Like, I think Astral Chain may have sold better than the latest Xenoblade.
I know that they actually had some positive messaging around it when it happened. But that Bayonetta Switch port apparently did terribly.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is the one on the Switch, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They have both.
No, I meant the new one. Cursory. I don't know. I tried to look it up. It didn't work out.
Yeah, I don't see like numbers. So
I'm pretty
You might
sure
not
they
have.
announced it broke 1 million, but that's all I know. Anyway, we got any more of these guys, or can I move on?
Let's move on.
Sounds great. Anonymous CC writes in, Dear astral plane-sized brain gamers, what are some of your favorite video game trailers? Oh, I love this question. I understand
do,
that a
yeah.
lot of trailers, a lot of launch trailers aren't really that great since they tend to spoil the shit out of a game for some reason. But sometimes a lot of announcement trailers, such as the one for Devil May Cry 5 or The Evil Within 2, can get you really excited for a game. So what are some of your favorite video game trailers? P.S. The Evil Within 2 version of Ordinary World is fucking incredible. Okay, I love this question until the P.S. Fuck you, that thing sucked. As someone who loved the song Ordinary World, that version was a fucking disaster. That version was a catastrophe. But I love your question. Thank you for sending it in. The Ballad of Gay Tony is a really it's a trailer that sticks with you.
It is amazing.
Because you watch the trailer and then you go, what the fuck is this song? And then you find out it's piano, and then you keep playing piano at parties and shit, and then you keep referencing that trailer. And now for some reason, half of the people in the GigaBoots extended universe say, welcome to the party at random without thinking, I'm referencing a trailer for a Grand Theft Auto 4 DLC from 10 years ago. So that's a pretty powerful
Are you okay?
trailer.
why are so many things like this with you?
What do you mean?
Sometimes obscure references are amazing.
Sometimes you just want to welcome people to your party, and you try to think of how, and then you
People
reference
just hate
that.
party.
You know,
True.
I had an epiphany. I had an epiphany about Dan the other day. It came to me in a dream, and I woke up understanding Dan.
Okay.
Dan, every single thing Dan says or have ever said is somehow a reference to something I've never heard of, and that he later reveals to me rubbing his hands together with glee. I am terrified.
Like the Shadow of War goblin that wants you to spend money.
I am terrified that everything everyone says is just shit they heard somewhere, but Dan is the only person freakish enough to remember exactly where every single thing he says is from.
I can absolutely assure you that is 100% the case.
It's Dan and Dr. Aggro.
Yeah, Dan and Dr. Aggro both do this, but the thing is, I just find small phrasings of things really delightful, and I hang on to those phrasings a lot. This fucking piano meme, this fucking Ballad of Gay Tony thing, just became a thing because we kept playing that song at LAN parties and shit. So people would bust out into welcome to the party when new people would show up for the LAN parties. And that happened enough years in a row where it just got cemented into the lexicon.
Have you guys seen this trailer? It's actually really good.
It actually is it's a fucking stellar trailer for a fucking
I watched
DLC.
it when you posted it.
I was just
This
shocked.
is another way this is another way these fucking mailbags are time machines that send you to 2 months ago.
Let's see. What other trailers are really good?
Okay, I have one that got me super hype, and I'm kind of ashamed to admit that I liked the trailer a whole bunch.
Okay.
The Saints Row 3 trailer where the Kanye West song plays.
It is surprisingly good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really solid trailer.
I just feel like it's shameful to admit it in 2019.
How dare you admit the past existed and that you liked things then?
Also, the Witcher 3 cinematic trailer where he beats the shit out of 3 guys trying to hang a woman.
All right. Yeah. I think I've seen that one.
Because it opens with this really cool monologue about him talking about how the world sucks shit. And then it basically ends with him getting off the horse and basically thinking, oh, but fuck it, I'll try to make it less shitty anyway. And then beats 3 guys into comas.
I've got several lined up.
Yeah, I got some too.
Let's go to KZ for some. KZ?
Thinking about a couple of recent trailers. For Smash Ultimate, the Everyone Is Here trailer. I did not expect that, and that's one of the most expertly set up trailers when you think about it, of how they place some of those character inclusions, where it slowly ramps up of, oh, that's back. Oh, that's back. Oh, they can't mean everyone. Oh, that's Pichu. Oh yeah, everyone's back. Wow. Like they went in there really knowing what to cut in for that one.
Mm-hmm.
The Breath of the Wild final trailer.
Maybe we'll see an everyone's here trailer for Pokemon at some point.
Bob, for the love of God, let us live, please.
Yeah, that's what we keep saying, KZ. Glad to see you on our side.
Jesus Christ.
Bob, that was like buckshot straight into the chest. You know that, right?
Yeah, no, I was like, oh man, I just thought of that. This hurts me. Why don't I hurt them?
Like,
And
please stop. I'm actively trying to escape Pokemon.
No, wait, or consider this, Bob. They say everyone is here and then show Pikachu, Lucario, and Charizard.
Oh man, that is all of them. God, kill me.
So I hear something about this Breath of the Wild trailer's pretty good.
Yeah, the last Breath of the Wild trailer I thought was really good, as someone who played very little Zelda at that point and went, this is very exciting. That sold me on that game. It made me feel like I definitely need a Switch at launch so I can play this, because I'm not digging up the Wii U even at that point. It was buried.
Yeah.
The Final Fantasy VII reveal trailer, I think, is really good.
Yes.
I've never seen a trailer just smash it out of the park like that, where I actively am like, I need to see how other people took this trailer and reacted to this. I need to look at Kyle Bossman standing on a chair saying they're maniacs.
Izzy yells, "This looks just like Final Fantasy VII."
Yes. It was really, that was really good. I also agree with the question asker. I thought that Evil Within 2 trailer looked cool. I think it had some nice cuts in it.
Oh yeah, I wasn't talking about the visuals at all.
Yeah. Music, I don't remember the music because it was trailer music.
It was
it's like
exactly.
something in a game.
It was the 13th fucking trailer made that year where it was like, what if we took an 80s song and made it spooky?
Yeah, I can't say I remember most music in trailers unless it's like something that I watched multiple times, like the FF7 one, for example. Yeah, those are some of the ones I would put at the top.
Gonna bust mine out a little fast. Metal Gear Solid 4, the trailer where you see Raiden battle Vamp. The trailer is pretty good, showing Solid coming up on the camp occupied by Liquid, and you think that's it. They're just introducing the power dynamic in the world, and that's it. That's all you're gonna get with the trailer. They cut to credits, and while that's on screen, Vamp is all like, "You too, an immortal." And Raiden goes, "No, I just don't fear death." And then it cuts to them fucking cyborg/vampire fighting in a fucking alleyway as fucking Raiden holds a sword with a stiletto that he has an opposable heel on, and he spins in midair spins on his hands upside down, kicking the sword at him. That is one of the best trailers ever cut.
That's also after he pulls down a Metal Gear with his just sheer strengths.
Oh yeah, no, he wraps the fucking Metal Gear with the tentacle thing and just yanks it down. It's really good. That is seriously one of the best trailers.
I heard that game's really good.
You sure did. What else? Uncharted 4's 60 frames per second 1080p trailer where they insisted it was real.
Oh my god. God damn it, Dan.
Nathan Drake wakes up on the side of a fucking river where every grain of sand is rendered and physically simulated. He has parts of it in his cuts and his fucking brow. And he's like Sully's there and he's like, "You sure you're ready to do this, Drake?" He's like, "Yeah."
Thought I'd let you do this alone.
And he's like, "Okay, well, this is going to be the last time we do it." And then it cuts to him walking past a fucking skeleton in a fucking metal cage hanging from a tree in a spooky-ass forest.
Ooh.
There aren't even that many polygons in the game. That trailer is so unrealistically gorgeous.
It was next gen, Dan.
They're like, "It's rendered in real time. It's real time. This is real time. The game's not going to look like this. It's real time, though." I'm like, fucking amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for rendering this thing on a PS4 for real, but you can't prove it, and I can't make you prove it somehow. Thanks. Thank you so much. And lastly, and this one's going to take the cake, and anyone who disagrees is a fucking liar. Killzone 3's original trailer, when in fact it was Killzone 2 as it finally shipped as.
Yes.
From 2005.
Why do you keep picking lies as your fucking one?
Well, as it turns out, lying can be pretty powerful.
We watched that trailer probably more than anything.
Yeah, no, that trailer looks absolutely incredible. It is unreal. There's a lot of really intense there's a lot going on in that it just hadn't been seen in anything up until that point. So it's kind of incredible they could even cut a trailer of that. And the way the aircraft looks breaking through the skyline and how that actually is the intro to a level in that game. Like, honestly, all in all, the Killzone 2 trailers, like even when it starts being the game instead of CG bullshit, they're all really powerful. Like, that game has good visuals. It still looks nice even in 2019 to some extent. Of course, it looks blurry as hell because it's not even 720p if I remember correctly. But yeah, no, very impressive. I like that trailer. As it turns out, lying makes for really impressive trailers. I can't think of any other trailers though. Bob?
Metal Gear Acid 2. I'm sorry you didn't bring this one up, Dan.
Oh, I would have, but it's hard to explain why that song's such a fucking banger.
Yeah, no, the song is just amazing. That's what that whole trailer sits on.
Yeah.
It's just...
And it's cut perfectly to it.
Right.
Like, it so perfectly matches the song and tone while advertising the game. It's kind of impressive.
Yeah, it's like a music video that's about the new features in this game.
About how it has many new bosses.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Acid 2's trailer, really good.
Devil May Cry 3's reveal trailer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it has that really great song.
Yes, it gets you a good sense of what the new songs are like in that game. It shows Acid Rain and a bunch of other moves. It's like, oh man, this is going to be a real game. This isn't anything like Devil May Cry 2. But I still went in with that fear. But that trailer really helped.
Oh, yeah. No, you get to see him pull off Acid Rain and all those other moves, and you're like, this is a whole different tier of action game. And it was.
And then it has like some crazy monologue about him or about his father and stuff. I'm like, this is good stuff. I'm excited. I'm hyped. There's also all the... I only vaguely remember these, but they're really cool in concept. The Metal Gear Solid 2 trailers that didn't show you Raiden once. They even used Snake in places only Raiden would be.
So they show the shots like that they actually use in the game in pre-rendered videos while showing allegedly what happened to Snake of him running through the tanker as it explodes with water going everywhere. And it's like, that doesn't actually happen in the game. Then him on Shell. Yeah, no, I know the exact trailer you're talking about. It's very well done.
Yeah, it's really neat. Another one, Zone of the Enders 2. I'm not sure if this was released as a trailer or if it just only plays before you boot up the game.
Yeah,
I think it's both.
I think it's both.
It's amazing.
It's a very powerful thing. I noticed a lot of Kojima's showing up.
Yeah, no, the dude's good at cutting trailers. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All the Metal Gear Solid 5 trailers that tricked me into thinking there was something in the game.
Oh.
It is. They showed you it.
Yeah, he showed you all of it.
Yes.
Didn't they?
There was only like 5 minutes, so that was not nice.
No.
That Dead Island trailer for the first game.
People seem to love that. I never really got that, but
it constantly shows up on lists, though.
I liked the Dead Island 2 trailer we saw 45 years ago.
That game's coming out.
No.
The one where the guy's jogging. And,
you're talking about Dead Island 2.
No, Feel's talking about Dead Island 2. KZ's talking about Dead Island 1. Yeah.
But I like that Dead Island 2 trailer, the only thing that'll ever exist from that game.
No, it's coming out. They said so like 2 weeks ago.
Watch, that's going to be at Game Awards, and we're going to look like idiots.
Oh my god! God damn it!
No!
Hey, KZ, did you know that soda can be hydrating?
Why are you referencing that old fucking campaign?
Because it upset me. I'm trying to think of anything else that had a really powerful trailer, but I can't.
I feel like I'm missing some really obvious ones. Oh, the Shinobi 2 or Shinobi for the PS2 trailer, where they're like, Shinobi's back.
That's a commercial.
Yes,
but I'll take it. But they yell Shinobi's back, and that's powerful.
Yeah, it's a bad commercial, but
the Super Smash Brothers Brawl original, the very first one, where it reveals Pit and Samus. It stealth reveals Final Smashes with Samus doing the big arm cannon. That one drove people nuts, and I really liked it for a long time.
Yeah,
they were like, "Here's some stuff from World of Light. That's gonna be good." I'm like, "I trust you."
You mean Subspace Emissary?
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
For some reason, I keep getting those two names mixed up. Like I every time I read World of Light, I'm like in Brawl. People are like, no, fucking in Ultimate, and I'm like, man, I should have fucking played that mode in Ultimate. God damn it!
Oh man, yeah, you still haven't had a chance.
No,
to.
I still haven't.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
Casey says, "Oh my god," while knowing exactly why. He's known me long enough. Anyway.
I was trying to think of something related to my brand. That first Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, I think, is one of the few that I can like point to it and go, this was significant at the time. The rest of them that came out, I'm like, this appeals to me, but I can't tell you a normal person why it's so cool that Donald Duck is over there. There's no context here. But that first one, in which he picks up a key, they put the logo in, they show the fakest gameplay you've ever seen, and then they say, yeah, we're making it, which you hardly see that happen for a video game, in which they ended with, yeah, we started developing it.
Now in development, yeah.
Which by the way, they showed that same splash screen 2 years later.
Oh.
The first Persona 5 one where we actually saw anything, and they introduced one of the songs and the red and black as being like the big primary colors and how it would look in the menus and stuff. That trailer also was really good.
The Final Fantasy 15 reveal trailer was pretty good. It was all lies, but that's the big theme of this.
Yeah. You know what? If we're gonna talk about big lies, or in this case, big accidents, that trailer is really good.
Yeah, no, it shows so much that doesn't make it in the game to any extent, and would have been way better than what they made.
Yes, just everything about it. You can still see some of the Nomura stuff in there, and it's like, oh man, this looks appealing. The kingdom's still based on the Yakuza. And then it got really Game of Thronesy.
Yeah, then he got it in weird ways, and
yeah, you know what? Yeah,
Arden just flies in with a dragon and nukes the town.
I like that they're like, look, there's real gameplay in it, because sometimes they would cut to a gameplay shot. It's 4 frames. I watched that recently and went, oh my god.
Yeah, I'm also gonna have to go with a Versus 13 trailer. Like the original.
Oh yeah, that thing was hype.
That thing was, dude.
All the Versus 13 trailers are just really strong.
Yeah.
You can tell when Nomura cuts a trailer and then some dude at Square cuts a trailer, because there's just a very much different vibe.
Right.
Because all the 15 trailers, with the exception of like one, just were really rough.
Yeah, I can't remember any except that reveal of it being 15. Like that was the only one that really had an impact.
Mm-hmm.
Because we found out they didn't have cutscenes to show, so
Yeah.
My last one. Killzone Shadowfall. Just because the neat features they built into like that were new for the game, of like scout bot, grapple ropes, having alternative fire for scopes, and then also just showing off the scale of what they can do on the new console was really impressive. That game to this day still looks really, really impressive, and I still think a lot of the things they did with it was neat. I don't think it has the most compelling story, but sadly, most first-person shooter campaigns don't really nowadays. Thanks for shitting the bed, Halo. There we go. I wish there was one cool trailer I could point at from Microsoft's camp, Bob.
Yeah.
And if there was one, it would be the Master Chief in a fucking desert being anime, but then that had nothing to do with the fucking game.
Yeah, that does
like
hurt.
that
You
wasn't
already
even.
put so many lies in your list.
But that literally doesn't occur in the game and is clearly pre-rendered. Like it's multiple layers of just that had no vague resemblance to anything in the game. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, at least with the 15 one, you could be like, well, there was the ambition there. I think they wanted to do what was in that trailer.
And eventually Drake does wake up on the side of a river and has, a fifth as many polygons. I'm not sure you remember the trailer, but he walks through a desert covered in a shawl, and then a machine planet rises up out of the desert. It is the coolest fucking shit. It is like, man
that was a weird Uncharted game.
But by the time by the time that had happened, because Halo 4 shit the bed so hard, I had no confidence that was going to be in 5, that it wasn't in 5, and I was even more upset than I could have imagined.
Can you just imagine where like the timeline where 343 Halo is just a weird Uncharted clone?
That would be better than what they did. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Master Chief makes like quips, and it's a third-person game.
He's watching Cortana climb up a ladder, and he's like, "Oh, that must be so much." Oh man, that must. He's just staring at her ass.
The fucking monitor the monitor comes back and is basically like Claptrap.
Oh no! Okay, we have to
Look,
move.
Guilty Spark can
we
be
can't. I can't.
He can be Sully. He doesn't have to be Claptrap.
This is terrible. This is the worst.
Oh man, I feel like there's
a lot of potential in this. All right, we could go on this for 2 more hours if you wish.
right. Like I feel like there's so many times I've been super hyped during E3 or something for a trailer, and we end up watching it a ton. Like I think the most recent ones that's happened for has been Devil May Cry 5, which we talked like the poster mentioned that, so I felt like it wasn't necessary to talk about. But
Right.
I'm trying to think of anything else that was that big.
I think that last trailer they did was pretty good that I saw after the game came out, I think, and I'm like, oof, man, they sure show stuff in that.
Oh, you mean when Doug Walker showed the game on his channel? Is that what you're talking about? When Doug Walker was Devil May Cry 5, it's a really fun game. It slices and dices. My jokes are older than my audience.
I thought you were gonna say they beat the big boss, the glass shatters, and then you see the silhouette of Doug Walker, the Alpha and the Omega.
Please don't give him that
Doug.
much credit.
Does the gameplay trailer of Genji count as a trailer? Sorry, the gameplay demo at E3 of Genji.
It's not so much a trailer because there's a man on stage who says it's based on ancient Japanese history and we have to fight this giant enemy crab. And we're going to attack its weak spot for massive damage.
Are we gonna shift this question to favorite presentations at a press conference, or
No, I
man,
don't want to
too.
do that. I
Dan,
don't
where
wanna do that.
first? Where was 6 million troops? Which was that? I don't remember the source.
Wasn't that 99 Nights 2?
Yes, or maybe one.
No,
Probably
it was 2.
Okay.
One me. Wow.
The Devil May Cry 4 trailer where it's just him standing in the snow.
Oh, you mean where they yet again dunk on Devil May Cry 2, the best running joke in Devil May Cry history?
Yes.
Where it's just like, it's cutting to prior games from the series, you guys, and this was E3 2005, I believe.
Something like
But
that.
it's just like Devil May Cry 1, it says some cool thing. Devil May Cry 2, it pops up with the text, "The innocent suffered." And then Devil May Cry 3, and it says some other cool text. And then it cuts to Dante standing on a wintry mountain, like a snow-capped mountain, and then he slashes the screen, and it just ends the trailer.
Yeah. No, it was
That
rough.
That trailer had screen tearing, and I still to this day don't know why.
Yeah, there's nothing even close to those assets in that game.
I'm like, this entire thing's pre-rendered. Why is it screen tearing? It's so weird. But yeah,
we could talk about this literally forever.
yeah.
you got any more?
No, I think we're going to end it there.
No.
This has been quite the mailbag. Lots of great trailers we talked about. I encourage people to go watch those and then watch Case Closed and then watch Lost Universe.
In that order?
Not that last one.
It's okay, Casey. They'll die of old age before they're done with Case Closed. The GigaBoots videos for this holiday season have been brought to you by our generous executive producers, Vincent Pover, Nicholas Cameron, E. Lee Broyles, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Danny Richardson, Dryzart, Red Blaze 27, and Dandy Cageford. Thank you very much to our incredibly important executive producers. And also these guys. If you want to join the fight for good content, then go support us on patreon.com/gigaboots to become an executive producer today.